Hello, 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 and welcome everyone to Midweek Mindset. My name is Michelle Anunso, co-owner of Harmony's Divine Design, where I work alongside the amazing T Weaver. At Harmony's Divine Design, we work with new and seasoned entrepreneurs, helping you guys get out of that stuck place. So we do that by offering one-on-one business coaching, online classes, and products and services to assist you with your workflow. And also, I can't have a Midweek Mindset without my awesome partner. Miss Kimberly James. Oh, my fault. Coach Kimberly James. Let me put that respect on your name, man.
Thank you, Coach Michelle. Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Kimberly James, and I'm the owner and creative director of Josie May. And my clients pay me to bring their vision to life. I empower them through creativity, mindset transformation, and personal growth by offering digital and physical products that reflect our unique style, craft workshops to spark your creativity, 30-day challenges to expand your mind, and one-on-one coaching to help you achieve your goals.
Awesome, awesome. So for those of you that it may be your first time joining me and Kim's Midweek Mindset, welcome. Just wanted to let you guys know how we operate our mindsets. So every month, Kim and I pick a topic that we will be discussing each week. It's a different category of that topic. And for this month, we are talking about reclaiming your rhythm. For me, as we spoke last week when we kicked it off, reclaiming your rhythm is finding your new norm in changes in life, right? As long as we are walking this earth, things are going to change, whether it be relationships, professional development, homes, kids. Life is just made to change. And when those changes happen, obviously it causes a disruption within us, right? It can be, certain behaviors can occur and certain habits that can occur. Some can be negative, some can be positive, but it all depends on our coping mechanisms. And in last week's session, the topic of that was tuning out the noise and turning up your frequency. So within those moments of loudness, right, with opposition, it's definitely time to tune out that static. And a lot of times we have a hard time tuning that static out because we may feel obligated to do all the things that we need to do, right? And a lot of times that leaves us with very minimal time to check in with ourselves. So last week we touched in on that topic of tuning out that distraction and turning up your frequency, which means looking inside and listening to that inner voice when you hear, stop, enough, I'm tired, no more, and paying it mind and being intentional on how you're going to aid it. So I love that one of our attendees today stated that she's taking a self-help week. And it's so important. And her reason was just feeling overwhelmed, right? Life is life. Things get crazy, it piles up. And I love the fact that she was mindful of that into that me time and just eating and breathing. So that's awesome. Um, so for this week, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Kim because she is ready to go. So, Kim.
We'll see.
You got it. You got it.
Ah, all right. Let me share my screen. Hang on for 1 second. Do this. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep. Good to go.
Perfect. All right, so this week we're going to talk about reclaiming your rhythm. That's the topic of the series. And this is week 2 of 4. So this week it's about presence over pressure. We're talking about what it really means to be productive and how peace, presence, and purpose can shift the game. So Michelle did a recap over week one. It was just about turning down the noise and getting back your own rhythm. We looked at where things felt off and how to realign and how to that rest is not a reward, it's a rhythm. Um, and then today we're going to talk about the pressure off and put the peace back in. So, the key message for today is you don't have to prove your worth by how much you produce. Productivity is not a badge of burnout, but about presence, peace, and alignment. So, let's keep it real. Some of us were taught that productivity equals worth, but let's flip that. Productivity it's not about being busy. It's about being present on purpose and in peace. You don't have to hustle for your value. We align with it. So let's talk about pressure. We all have these external pressures. So there's family, there's work, there's social media, there's taking this class, it's being active and seeing what somebody else is doing. Those expectations can help you, or they make you feel disconnected. Also, your internal beliefs. So, if you feel that you're not doing enough and that you should be further along, that also gives you the feeling of disconnect and it makes you off your rhythm. So, you're not in flow. So, peace is a power source. Peace is not passive, peace is powerful. When you choose peace over panic, you make better decisions, you tap into creativity, and lead from a grounded place. That's how legacies are built. It's not built from burnout, but from balance. So you don't have to hustle for your worth. Peace creates a space for your clarity. And when you lead with peace, you make better, bolder decisions. So the 3P framework, there's purpose, which is anchor your actions in meaning and not obligation. Presence, be fully engaged in what matters in the here and now. And then peace, honor your wellness and your boundaries. You don't have to do more. You need to be more present in what you're doing already. The magic happens when you show up as your whole authentic self, not just your to-do list. So let's shift the matrix. Instead of measuring how busy you are, measure how grounded you feel. Instead of measuring how fast you work, measure how intentionally you move. Instead of measuring how perfect it looks, measure how purpose filled it is. When you work and your energy is aligned with something deeper than a deadline, it transforms everything and you stop chasing outcomes and start chasing impact. Because at the end of the day, we want to make an impact. Everybody has a gift and a talent. We're all here for a purpose. And if you're constantly doing everything else and you're going through your to-do list, are you really fulfilling that purpose? So sometimes you just have to slow down and make sure that you're aligned with your purpose. So the affirmation of the week, I am productive in ways that honor my peace, my presence, and my purpose. Say it, breathe it in, and let it guide your week. And then also ask yourself these 3 questions. Did I protect my peace today? Was I fully present in what mattered? And did I act in alignment with my purpose? And if you can answer yes to those, then you're really walking in alignment. So your rhythm check-in. So what gives you energy? What fuels you? What makes you happy? What makes you get up every morning excited about whatever that thing is that you need to do? And then there's the energy drain. What is draining your energy? Is it things that don't align with your purpose? Is it doing stuff for other people that you know you really don't want to do, but you say yes anyway? Everybody has that thing that's draining their energy. And then I challenge you to make small shifts and see what you can eliminate that's draining your energy and see how you feel after 1 week of just eliminating those things. Here's a reminder, in case nobody told you, you are 100% worthy. You don't need to earn rest. You should automatically take it. We talked about that last week about, setting aside time for yourself. You're 100% valuable. You don't need to prove your value to anyone. And you're 100% enough. You are enough just as you are. And that is powerful. So we're going to take a couple minutes and I want you to write down 3 things that support your peace. And then 3 things that how you can show up to be more present. And then 3 things that align with your priorities for the week. 3 purpose aligned priorities. So 3 things that support your peace. So whether it's for me, I would say 3 things that support my peace are prayer and meditation. And I'm going to use that's 1 and 2, prayer, meditation, and wine. That supports my peace. It gives me peace. How can I show up? I was telling Michelle before we started, I showed up this yesterday for my son. He'll be 31 next month. But when he calls and says, hey, I just need to talk some things out, I drop everything. So that's how I show up. I turned off my phone. I knew I had a million and one things that I needed to do for my business, but I put that stuff to the side. So that's how I was able to show up for him. I don't have 2 other things right now. And other things, 3 purpose aligned priorities for the week, just making myself a priority. And when I realize that I'm not feeling good, I pause. And that is something that I always do. So I don't need 3 things because it's just that one. If I'm feeling off, I'm feeling stressed, I take a pause. And then that helps me to get realigned. So I'm going to stop my share. Anybody got their 9 things?
I'll mess with you. You're gonna have to put that slide back up so I can make sure I'm answering.
Oh, sure.
I know I'm good, but I remember all that.
Hang on, let me share. And of course, I've got more screens open than I should.
You and them tabs.
I know, I'm bad. Okay.
All right. So for me, the 3 things that I do to support my peace, um, the first is definitely prayer and meditation, and I'll leave that as one and because they happen together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another thing is I go outside a lot. I have to be outside. The winter time and being up north is not fun for me. So as soon as it cracks 60 degrees, I'm out front. Like I gotta be out. Um, and then for me, another thing that supports my peace is disconnecting and writing. I'm a writer at heart. And to me, even though we're all digital and that's great, there is nothing like holding a pen to paper and just seeing the strokes. For me, it's relaxing. My presence practice, my main one is breathing. As crazy as it sounds, because a lot of times we don't realize how much we actually hold our breath.
That's good. Yeah.
So, and coming from a person that has dealt with asthma as a child, I know how important our breaths are. So there's been times where my youngest will be around here just loud and doing kid things, right? And some days I'm just like, oh my God, stop. But then other days I really have to stop myself and take a look and look at the language that I'm seeing. And it's, mommy, I just want time. Like you were saying earlier, mommy, I just want to play with you. Let's, play cars or whatever. And in order for me to transition out of tense to calm, to me, it's my breath. Because when I'm anxious and wound up, I'm restricted. I restrict myself with my air. But when I literally take a moment to be present in whatever it is, I take that deep breath and I can literally feel my body relax because that's what I needed to do in the first place. Another way that I am present, and it's going to sound funny, but I'm a napper. I'm a napper. I have to, if there's a lot going on and my mind is just busy, I will clock out for a solid 45 and then I will talk to you.
That's great that you're able to do that.
Like, because and that is one thing that I have been doing since I was a child, because it's just one of those things where it's like something in my mind is just like, no, it's overload, it's too
Mhm.
much, you have to rest now. um but yeah, is napping and just my breathing. um those are the practices in order for me to stay present. And if I had to list another one, it would be cooking. I like cooking. And those are my fun moments when the kids harass me the most, of course. The way that I prioritize and make sure that I'm aligned, it's pretty much, it coincides with my peace, right? So, like I said, to make sure that I'm purpose aligned and priorities, I have to have my peace first. So, that's a priority for me. I have to take time to, in the morning, to get my brain together. What is it that I'm working on today? What do I have to do today? And that comes after my prayer and meditation, because the very first words uttered in my mind is, thank you, God, I was on the wake up list today. I got another day. Okay, that means I got some more to do. All right, let's go. you know, but that helps me. Before, I wouldn't do those things. Before, I wouldn't check in with myself. I would just get up as soon as my alarm would go off. Like most people, I would roll over, grab my phone, and I'm automatically checking emails. I'm automatically checking all the busy stuff,
Mhm.
right? Never really giving myself the grace or the honor to just fully wake up. Before I could even get out the bed, my brain was already programming to-do lists and things. And I had to come to a point where I had to stop that. I had to just change my own routine. And when I did that, I will say it's been very beneficial, because if I didn't, Harmony's Divine Design wouldn't exist. Me and my mom, I'll just be looking at my mom like, um, but yeah, those are my 9 steps, my 9 things.
That's good. And you taking naps, that's kind of like the pause that I do. I don't take a nap, but I will pause in a minute, on a lot of different things. Yeah, I love that with the breathing as well. There was a technique that you guys know I've talked about, my stress and my anxiety. And that's one of the things that they teach you. It's, you breathe in for 4 seconds and you hold it for four, and then you breathe out for four and you hold it for four. So, yeah, that breathing technique is really important. I often forget when I'm stressed, though.
Well, I mean, when you're in it, obviously we go to our natural instincts and habits, right? But
Mhm.
this also is the reason for mindset, because we start identifying, becoming aware of the habits that may not be positive for us, right? So I know it was mentioned in the chat that someone else, they hold their breath a lot. And it's understandable, because you have to think, when you're stressed and there's a lot going on, your body naturally tenses up. It's a natural reaction. Our fight or flight is activated. So our muscles in our body is pretty much our motherboard. It remembers every moment we were tense, we were nervous, we were excited, happy. I mean, everything in a book.
Mhm.
But no matter what emotion that you experience, one thing that I've realized with myself is that what counters it all is literally just breathing. Because when you focus on your breathing, you're bringing yourself back to you. You're focusing back on you, you know? So, and that's one thing when I feel my anxiety, because for me, everybody, when their anxiety acts up, it shows in different ways, right? So some people might get a little sweaty, some people might get chest palpitations, some people might get an upset stomach, might get a headache, feel dizzy, all like there is, our body gives us warning signs. For me, for some reason, it feels like my heart drops like on an elevator. Like all of a sudden I get a panic and I just whoop, and that's it. And before, I started focusing on my breath, it would go into like a full blown panic attack. Anxiety was just skyrocketing. And one day I had an anxiety attack where it felt like my asthma was about to start acting up as well. And then at that point, I was like, okay, you know what? This is too much. Let me focus on my breath because this is crazy. Because for me, an asthma attack means hospitalization. Like that's the extent of it. So I'm like, I'm not going there. I'm going to calm myself down. And you know what? It's so funny. The things that we use to help correct our children. Go sit in the corner, you're in timeout. Sometimes we need to sit ourselves in a corner
Mm-hmm.
and put ourselves in timeout, you know. Um, Go take a nap. You going around here, you acting crazy. Go lay down. Sometimes we need to tell ourselves, girl, you doing 999 things. Go lay yourself down. So finding what your piece is so important. And it looks different for all of us.
It does.
Definitely.
Crystal said that peace is pray, hot bath, and walking away. Presence is saying no, turning everything off, and walking, and she's still thinking about the purpose.
Love that.
Miranda says support my peace is prayer, music, and silence, showing up to make sure to get my devotional in every day, no matter what. Presence is I shut up. Not everything deserves a response, and just staying silent is my priority. Amen.
I know
I
that.
focus on things that add value to my life. Yep, I love that.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, it's good. Okay, anybody else want to share?
Miss Clarette? There you go.
Um, I think the majority of things everybody has discussed because I'm in the same situation with the anxiety and the panic. Um, I have, I'm going to say, glory to God, I haven't had an anxiety attack in a very, very long time.
Good.
But most of the things that you have discussed, these different areas, I had to use those techniques. The only thing for the first thing I do is it's out of Psalm 91. I think in the shadow of his arms. I have to be in a location right there, just whatever I'm feeling. And then I can't see the screen again, but I was thinking about when we were talking about finding my presence, I have to remember or think about where am I now or who am I talking to? Because sometimes I react to different things or I bring up a memory. A memory hits me faster than what's really actually going on. And so I have to think, to quiet myself down, I have to think, where are you? What's really going on? And for the present thing, when I was doing real bad with my anxiety attacks, I kept rubber bands on my hand because when I was driving, and I get that little sensation that I was going to like fade out. I snapped it, the rubber band on my hand, just to kind of bring me to what was going on. And for the priorities, my dad used to say this when he would take me to the emergency room. He'd always say, "Baby, it's really hard to die." I'd be dying. That was my first thought ever. Even with the anxiety, when I was losing my breath or I couldn't get my breath, I was always thinking, "I'm dying." And Daddy would say, "Baby, it's hard. It takes a long time to die." And whether that was true or whatever, that always resonates about when it comes to the priority thing. I'm not dying right now. It's going to be okay. Breathe. That breathing, I never realized just how many times or when we don't breathe or when we stop our breath. You'd think you would know it right away, but then you just think you have that sensation that you were talking about, Michelle. And I get that one sensation. And I think you're holding your breath, you know, breathe.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. It is surprising when, when you start noticing how much you hold your breath, you'll be surprised. And I bet you everyone in this room today, y'all gonna be mindful. Like, wait a minute. Let me take a breath. Let me breathe. Kristen.
I hold my breath and grit my teeth. That is, I, and Michelle reminds me of it all the time. Breathe, Kristen, breathe. And I don't realize I'm not breathing. So, yeah, I have the gritting of the teeth and the holding of the breath. And then it's just like, it's right there in the throat. It just like closes up.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm over here looking at the chat. Um, and someone said that's why they become lightheaded. That could very well be. It could very well. Like I said, a lot of times because we naturally have these habits, our body naturally responds because we've responded the same way for so long that when it comes to our breath, I don't know why, but the first thing we do is we
Mhm.
hear some news. It's like we're bracing for the impact, right? Because we all have had some type of experience where on the other side of a breath, it wasn't necessarily good news that you received. So I think automatically wait a minute, okay. Oh, they just want to know where the light switch is. Yeah, it's right over there in the corner. you know.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, if I have to do a little bit more research, but I'll definitely, if you're in Timeless Vision, the Facebook group, um, I'll definitely share some breathing techniques and exercises, to help with this. So,
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so what does productivity usually mean to you?
being able to knock out at least 3 things on my to-do list for the day.
Yeah.
Not success. I know it's easier said than done, but yeah.
It's always tied to a list of stuff. And if you feel as if you haven't achieved the things that are on that list, then it feels like you haven't been productive.
But I will challenge you on the list
Hmm.
because a lot of times we will create the list of every single thing that we have to do. And then we'll get anxiety because we realize that our list is now 25 items long.
Hmm.
But really and truly, the reason that I said 3 things is because what I do with my list for the day is the top 3 things that are high priority that I need to action on. that's what I'm going to do, especially if it's something I procrastinated on. And yeah, okay, it's definitely getting done. Um, so I would say when it comes to all the lists, you can jot everything down, but definitely take time and prioritize them.
Mhm. Yeah, for me, I operate by a list. I cannot operate without a list. But what I've learned to do is everything doesn't need to be on the list today. There are things that are not my responsibility, but I wind up taking on because other people.
That
And
part.
while I'm midway through it, I'm like, why did I take this on? Why am I even doing this? Um, but when you are a giver and oh, it'll take me less time than, my mother to do this or my husband to do this. But then your plate is you're overwhelmed. So I've learned that, I don't mind helping people with things, but I'll make it a priority when I need to make it a priority. My stuff comes first and my peace is important. And that's one thing that I'm learning, that I really have to honor myself first. And if I don't, then I won't be good for anybody else. So yeah, it's fine that you can do the things. But if doing the things for other people take you out of alignment and midway through you're like, why am I doing this? Then you probably shouldn't be doing it. Now, there are some things that we don't have a choice, that we have to do. And I'm not talking about those things, but I'm talking about the extra stuff that we take on that don't serve us a purpose and that we make a priority, but it doesn't need to be a priority. So I challenge you to take them off your list as a priority or add them to the bottom. You'll get to it when you get to it.
That part. Because we're also guilty of falling into what I call productive procrastination. We do a lot of things, but we avoid the things that we have to do. So
And
you're busy and you're productive, but it's not on the target that you originally had.
and the worst part is the stuff that you procrastinate about. When you finally do it and it's at the 11th hour, you could have done it at the first hour and avoided all the anxiety because it probably wasn't that bad.
That is true.
I had something that was on my list and I'm just like, I kept putting it off, kept putting it off. And when I finally did it, I'm like, girl, you could have did this 3 weeks ago.
Because it took you like 5 minutes to do it, didn't it?
7.
Maybe.
But, it's doing the thing. We've talked about it before, doing the thing that's hard, making yourself, stand up for yourself and do the things that you need to do. And procrastinating on the thing that you need to do, it's only going to cause you more stress. So sometimes just do it. Just rip the band-aid off, get it done, cross it off your list, and then move on to the next thing.
Agreed.
You said breathe?
I said agreed.
Oh.
And breathe, but yeah, agreed.
Where do you feel less pressure to perform?
Hmm. Okay, so Nicole,
Someone in the chat said, with my girls.
understand.
Mhm.
For
Yeah.
me is when I'm doing and whatever I'm doing for my grandson. It's anything for my grandsons, period, but especially that baby. Anything for him, I can do with ease.
Understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. They don't want anything except your love.
Mhm.
You know, we have to remember those spaces. Those spaces where we do feel free and are just ourselves.
Mhm.
Whether we share it with someone or doing something, less pressure. Because I mean, let's be honest. I understand we have external pressures all around us. Deadlines, things to do, jobs, bills, the whole kit and caboodle. But again, going back to the moment of being present. Like Nicola says, spending it with her grandbabies. Other people share spending it with their children. Those are the moments that count, right?
Mhm.
I don't think on any and I'm not trying to sound crass or disrespectful to anyone in here, but I don't remember ever seeing on an obituary what someone received in their 401k. I don't remember seeing how many hours they clocked at the office. I don't remember seeing.
Hold on. Can you say that again about the 401k?
Sure. I said, I personally do not remember seeing a mention on anybody's obituary about their 401k. That was that statement.
Girl, you know I hollered. I, I hollered. I might have heard that wrong. That's why I had to ask it again because I was like, girl, preach. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. You know, but these are the things that we have to factor in, right? We can hold the best jobs, have the best salaries and all the things, right? But at the end of the day, we can't take the things with us. But what we can leave behind, besides material in some form, are the memories that we share with it, everybody that we walk this earth with. You know, when it comes to even being a coach and doing all that you see me do and things like that, I do it because literally I enjoy being a little blip in your journey. Meaning, if I could have positively affected you with a mindset, with a teacher, whatever it is that you see me on, that's my intention. Because at the end of the day, the only pressure I want to be is how much pressure goes on that diamond that I would like to wear. That's the only pressure I want to hear about. So that's my soapbox.
Okay. Um, how do you currently measure success? My definition of success changes often. And Michelle and I, we talked about this before we got on the call. Um, when I started my career, I was rising and I had three departments, 50 people reporting to me, and I was working to achieve a certain goal towards a certain position within the business. But I soon realized that what was more important was my son. So I was telling Michelle, my son plays sports, baseball, basketball, football. So he was always at an event. I'm at a game, he gets the game winning shot and I miss it. And he knew I missed it because he turned around and looked for my response when he got the shot. And at that point, I realized I missed it because I was on a call for work. I realized at that point that in 20 years, the company I work for was called Holly Hunt. She's not going to be in therapy saying that I wasn't there for her, but my child could be. And I made the decision at that point that my career was not nearly as important as my son. I quit my job. I didn't quit right then. I found another job first. But I found another job that allowed me the time that I needed with my family. And my son and I, he'll be 31. I was telling Michelle, yesterday I dropped everything because he came over and he's just like, I need some advice on some stuff. I drop everything whenever he calls because he don't call often. But when he does, I need to make sure that he has my full attention because he's the only child and he's spoiled. And if he don't get your 100% attention, then he gonna have an attitude. You're not listening to me. So I make sure that I'm completely available for him when he needs me. And that's, why did I start talking about that?
How do you
Oh,
currently measure success?
measure success. Okay, so girl, that's sometimes. So how I measure success now is based on, it's a feeling. It's not about the job or the money or, that, yeah, it's great, but that's not how I measure success. I measure success by the impact that I'm making in the lives of the people that I love. And to me, when my family comes and says, hey, I need some help with something, or hey, I need your opinion on something, or hey, can I pick your brain about something? That means that you're making some kind of an impact when so many people depend on you for your advice. We'll start charging those people. But that to me, it means a lot. That your family and your friends not only appreciate you, but they also respect your opinions. So to me, that's how I gauge success now, more so than the money in the bank or the positions. So it's changed over time.
I like that. For me, the measure of success is time. How much of my time am I truly spending doing what it is that I love to do?
That's good.
That to me is a measure of success. And I've noticed obviously it does not always come with a monetization to it,
Mhm.
right? Yes, we are CEOs and entrepreneurs and creating our businesses and all the things, but coming from um, a point in my life where I felt very micromanaged with just my ritual and how I had to show up, where I had to be routine, have this. Success to me is my time to be able to wake up in the morning and breathe and do what I love to do.
That's good. That's good. I'm working on it. This is my new norm. It's only been 30 days. No, 6 weeks. Working on 6 weeks. But I can't take credit. The month of May, I was trying to figure out my feelings, so that don't count. So it's going on 2 weeks.
No, it does count. It does count because the thing about it is, and that goes even into the topic that we're talking about,
Mhm.
you know, so for those that may not know, Kimberly is freshly retired. So she's trying to figure out her new norm. Um, but that part of your feelings, dealing with your feelings, that's all part of this.
Well, yeah, because I'm retired by elimination. And retired sounds a
I
lot better
ain't
than
going into
unemployed.
details, ma'am. Either way.
But it's retiring when you're planning to retire is different than retired by elimination. So that's why I needed that 30 days just to kind of figure out my feelings. Because I got in my I'm
But that's understandable though. It's understandable. But even if you retire by choice or retire by elimination, there still is a moment
thanks,
where
Dean.
I can't. There's still a moment where we all have to tap into ourselves and realign. Because even a person that retires by choice, they have to figure out their new normal as well. You know, even though they planned, oh, I know on this date I'm no longer working. Now, the following day, okay, so what does that now look like for you?
Mhm.
And everyone, regardless of how the change occurred, has an adjustment period. And you have to take that time to stop and figure out exactly what that new rhythm is. How am I moving? If you don't have the 9 to 5 obligation anymore, so now how am I going to utilize these hours? What am I going to do with my time? You know, so there's always a process of just just figuring stuff out.
Yeah, I'm still working.
And that's
I got routine together, but it's everything else I'm trying to figure out.
fine.
Okay, so Elle said, for me, it's the opposite of having many people come to me because I feel inadequate to give advice at this point in my life. So if I'm having a hard time figuring out my own life, how could I possibly help others? You would be surprised. You would be surprised. You have experience. It's a lot easier to see how you can assist someone else, even though you may be in the midst of a storm yourself. So don't think that you're inadequate. They're obviously coming to you for a reason. And I would say they know you better than you probably know yourself. They've been watching you, and you can definitely advise them. People watch. People watch. And we've all had experiences that we've gone through. And you have to remember that everything that we go through, the trials and the tribulations, they're not necessarily for us. It's a testimony for somebody else. So where you may feel like you're inadequate, God is placing you in somebody else's life to assist them with what you've already. So reframe your mind, ma'am or sir. I only have an initial, so. Miranda
Oh,
said,
it's Lena. It's Lena.
ma'am, Miss Sanchez, don't play. Don't play. Don't play.
Lena over here trying to be on the low. It's hard.
I see.
Kristen has her hand up.
I just wanted to reiterate what Kimberly said. Do not, even though you feel like you might be inadequate, you are so not, because, like Kimberly said, people watch you, and sometimes when it comes to them coming to you, to be honest, sometimes it's for you and not for them, but it portrays to be, sorry, that's my dog. It portrays to you like it's for them, but in reality, it was sent to you to help you. So, yes, don't ever think that you can't help someone, because the help is actually going to be for you, but it's like a shadow for that.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris. Oh, okay. All right. Miss Sanchez, you get a pass. I'll be nice. It's all good. This has been a really good conversation today. A really, really good conversation today. And I did not realize that something as simple as our breath is as complex as it is. Um, don't be surprised if I just hold a breathing moment, literally, just for us to breathe.
But not only that, but it's also releasing.
Yes.
If you just breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks for this, Kim.
No problem. Okay. I'm going to ask one more question, and we've got 5 minutes, so it's going to be really quick. What's one thing you could stop doing that would create peace?
What is one thing that you could stop doing?
There's not one
Say that
thing.
again. What did you
What's
say?
what's one thing you could stop doing that would create peace?
I love what Nicola put in the chat. She said getting out of her own way, procrastinating, yes, trying to do it all. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Worrying, trying to be and do it all. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get through this without coughing. Stop thinking about what people think about you,
Mm-hmm.
because that can steal your peace quicker than anything else. And half of the time when you think that way, those people not even thinking about you. They got a million and one other problems going on in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, everybody got an opinion.
There is a whole nother part to that statement too, but I will not say.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I won't go there today.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll just hint to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I signed off just in time.
Nikki said belly buttons. I love it.
Very similar.
Very.
Similar. I love it. Yeah. Okay, so if you guys have been with us before, you know that I do a journal every week. This week's journal, I just put it in the chat. Use the code mindset in all caps, and it's absolutely free. But here is what the journal looks like. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Reclaim your rhythm, presence over pressure, a welcome letter. This has a playlist, it's 25 songs that I think will help you kind of find your rhythm. Redefining productivity through peace, redefining productivity through presence, and redefining productivity through purpose. There's a goal sheet. Day 1, permission to pause. Day 2, presence over perfect. Day 3, rhythm check. Day 4, productivity redefined. Day 5, let peace lead. Day 6, repurpose check in. And day 7, your flow forward. And then just a couple of journal pages.
So I will go ahead and drop the link one more time for you guys. So you can go ahead and grab that. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, as always, this has been a wonderful session. I thank you guys for interacting, whether you hopped on a mic or in the chat. It really brings value to the session. And the topic today, very, very impactful and very empowering. And I do pray that, as always, we share something of value that resonated with you and can help you along your journey. Yeah, that's all I got. Kim.
Thank you guys so much for spending a little time with us this afternoon. We hope that something was said to help, move you forward in the right direction. Peace is your productivity, purpose is your fuel, and presence is your power. So thank you so much for spending a little time with us this afternoon, and we hope to see you back here next week.
Absolutely. Oh, Christine, you have your hand up?
Real quick, I just have a little, if I can, please. I have a little question that I would like you guys to ponder on today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're all in the mindset right now, and we all do a lot of things so we can have that extra cookies in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, if someone come up to you and said, "Do you need money?" and you cannot use the words yes, yay, yeah, yep, absolutely, or of course, or the word sure, what would you say to that person that just offered you that $1 million check?
Gimme.
See? See?
I was gonna say give it here.
You can't use the word sure. You can't use the word sure
I
or
like
of course.
Miranda's the routing number. Give me your
Routing number.
routing.
By all means.
Cash app.
Cash
Oh, I
app.
like
That's
that.
a good one.
Cash at me.
I love it.
PayPal.
I love that.
Okay, I just wanted to give you a food for thought before we went. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.
I love that. Thanks.
That's good. Now, who has the money?
Right.
That's the part we got to go out and have the mindset to create. See, it had to come to circle, the mindset.